A love poem in stone. Often called a love poem in stone, the Taj Mahal is well known for being one of the most beautiful buildings ever created. It is also perhaps the most beautiful expression of love in the world. The Emperor Shah Jahan built the Taj Mahal for his empress, Mumtaz Mahal. The couple lived happily together for 18 years. Then Mumtaz died during the birth of their 14th child. Before she died, the emperor made her a promise. To remember her, he would build the most beautiful monument in the world. The emperor poured his passion and wealth into building the Taj Mahal. It is said that it took more than 20,000 people and 1,000 elephants to build. They worked for over 20 years to build the monument and its central dome, which stands over 73 meters above the ground. Soon after the building was finished, Shah Jahan's son became emperor. He put Shah Jahan in prison. Shah Jahan lived there until his death in 1666, when his body was put in the Taj Mahal with the woman he loved. There are many legends about the Taj Mahal. In one story, when the building was complete, Shah Jahan had the builders' hands cut off, supposedly so they could never build anything as beautiful as the Taj Mahal. Another says he also wanted to build a black Taj Mahal. These are interesting stories, but they are most likely not true. The love story between Shah Jahan and his wife ended sadly, but the monument to their love still stands today. It is visited by millions of tourists who come to see the marble change color in the light of the rising sun or a full moon.
The Great Dome of Florence. Brunelleschi and the Dome. In 1419, at the beginning of the Renaissance in Italy, a clockmaker named Filippo Brunelleschi started work on a very difficult project. He was building the dome of Florence's main cathedral, the Basilica di Santa Maria del Fiore. At 55 meters, 180 feet above ground, it would be the largest dome built since the Pantheon in Rome was finished 1,500 years before. After most of the cathedral was built in 1296, many builders tried to complete the dome, but none could do it. No one knew what material to use. Many builders knew how to build concrete domes. However, the dome in Florence needed to be wider than any dome ever built. Also, tall buildings of the time relied on structures that supported the heavy stone from the outside. The cathedral didn't have these structures, so a concrete dome was too heavy. It would easily fall. So the cathedral's roof was left unfinished for over 100 years. Filippo Brunelleschi promised to solve all these problems. He said he would build 2 domes, an inner dome made of stone and an outer one made of light bricks. He would use lighter materials as he worked upwards and would hold it all together with strong rings made of stone, wood, and iron. Brunelleschi also had to find a way to lift the materials high into the air. What did he do? He invented a new machine to do the job. Building the dome took 16 years. The crown at the top took another 10. Brunelleschi died a few years later in 1446. He had done something no one else could. However, he left no pictures of his design. So, even today, experts don't fully understand how this amazing structure was built.
A warming world. One weekend in May 2010, the weather forecast for Nashville, Tennessee, USA, predicted 10 centimeters, 4 inches of rain. By Sunday, over 33 centimeters, 13 inches had fallen. Soon, the city was flooded. On the roads, cars were covered by the rising water. "We've got buildings running into cars," the news reported as a small building floated by. There were 11 deaths that weekend. Changing weather. The weather is changing. Over the last few years, heavy rains have caused floods in Brazil, Pakistan, and Thailand. Droughts have struck Russia and Australia. Heat waves have killed thousands in Europe, and all over the world, hurricanes and tornadoes strike more frequently and with greater force than ever before. In 2011 alone, losses caused by the weather cost the world $150 billion. Warmer and wetter. As more wild weather events happen, a worried world is beginning to ask questions like, what is going on with the weather, and why? Many also want to know, is this natural, or are we to blame? The answer seems to be a little of both. Wild weather is natural, but most scientists agree human activity has made the Earth warmer. This global warming makes heat waves more likely to occur. The higher temperatures also cause more water to enter the air. This causes heavier and more frequent rain. Some scientists also believe global warming makes hurricanes and other storms stronger. This means we're likely to see more wild weather. But we don't have to just stand there and take it, says scientist Michael Oppenheimer. He and other experts say we need to stop the Earth from getting warmer. We also need to be prepared to do things that will help save lives.
Forces of nature. When weird weather strikes. Most of us know about fires, hurricanes, droughts, and floods. But from time to time, Mother Nature surprises us and delivers a weather event that is really weird. Here are some examples of truly weird weather. One day in 2005, residents of a small town in Serbia looked out their windows and saw an unusual sight. It was raining frogs. Without any warning, they found their streets filling with the little jumping creatures. There were thousands of them. One resident told a local newspaper, I thought perhaps a plane carrying frogs had exploded, said another. Scientists think a tornado passed over a lake. It sucked up animals that lived there. The frogs were carried into the air. Then they were dropped in the Serbian town far away. As if tornadoes aren't dangerous enough, some of them can actually be made of fire. When a wildfire reaches very high temperatures, it causes the air to become hot and to rise. Cooler air rushes in to replace the hot air. This creates strong winds. These winds suck up burning plants and even the fire itself. When this happens, like it did on March 14, 2014, in Denver, Colorado, USA, a tornado of fire is produced. This tornado can become 15 meters, 50 feet wide, and grow as tall as a 40-story building. In 1942, hundreds of thousand-year-old skeletons were found under the ice of Lake Rupkund in the Himalayas. Many had holes in their skulls, but they weren't hurt in any other way. Scientists thought the people must have been hit from above, but for years, the cause of their deaths was a mystery. Today, scientists think these people were killed by giant hailstones, balls of ice. Hailstones form when raindrops high in the sky turn into pieces of ice. The ice pieces increase in size until the wind cannot hold them up. This results in hailstones falling to the ground, often at speeds of over 160 kilometers, 100 miles an hour. For the unlucky people at Lake Rupkund, there was nowhere to run. They were all killed by the hailstones.
The Mammoth's Tale. Imagine finding a body that had been lost for 40,000 years. The strange animal in the ice looked like it was sleeping. 10-year-old Kostya Kudi and his brother had never seen anything like it before. But they had heard stories of the Mamont. It was an imaginary animal that lived in the ice-filled blackness of the Siberian underworld. Their father, a reindeer herder named Yuri Kudi, went to ask a friend for advice. But when he returned, the body had vanished. Yuri soon found the animal's body leaning against a store in a nearby town. While he was away, his cousin had sold it to the store owner. Dogs had eaten part of the tail and ear, but it was still in as close to perfect condition as you can imagine, says scientist Daniel Fisher. The police came to help. The body was taken by helicopter to a museum. The animal was a baby mammoth from the Ice Age. It was female, so the scientists named it after Yuri's wife. From Siberia, the mammoth was sent to the Netherlands and Japan. Scientists there studied it more closely. Detailed studies of her teeth and tusks showed she was just 1 month old when she died. Ongoing research has also shown us the sequence of events that led to her death. Luba fell and died near a muddy river. The mud helped keep her body frozen until she was found 40,000 years later. Scientists hope that further studies will help explain how mammoths like Luba lived. They also want to know why mammoths became extinct.
Sea monsters. Monsters of the deep. Sea monsters are not just imaginary creatures. Millions of years ago, real monsters did actually live on Earth. Today, scientists use fossils to help them figure out what these monsters were like. The fossils can help us understand some of the animals' unusual characteristics. After studying the fossils, the scientists can make very detailed pictures of these animals. So now we can all see what they looked like. Eyes in the dark. Temnodontosaurus was definitely an unusual animal. Its name means cutting-tooth lizard, and with good reason. It had very big teeth. It also had some of the largest eyes in nature. They were over 25 centimeters, 10 inches across. With such big eyes, Temnodontosaurus could easily find its food in the dark water. Terror of the deep. Kronosaurus. The Kronos lizard lived in the seas that covered Australia, but it probably used its fins to climb out of the water and lay its eggs on land. Its head was 2 meters, 7 feet long. Its teeth were as big as bananas. The main function of strong jaws and teeth like these was to catch smaller animals. In fact, Kronosaurus was one of the most dangerous predators of all time. The stalker. Known as the Lord of the Seas, Thalassomedon was a large sea monster with a very long neck. It also had a special means of catching fish. It carried stones in its stomach. These helped keep the largest part of its body and tail down in the dark water. Meanwhile, its long neck slowly rose up toward the fish. The fish didn't have a chance to get away from Thalassomedon. They didn't see the sea monster until it was too late.
The robots are coming. The year is 2045. A goal is scored at the Soccer World Cup, not by a human player, but by a robot. A robot? Is that possible? Many scientists believe it is. In fact, there are already robots that can play soccer. Of course, today's robots don't just play sports. Today's scientists are working on robots with various skills. For example, it is very possible that robots will soon help take care of children or the elderly, or do dangerous jobs such as fighting fires. When people started making robots, they were made to do just simple things, mainly in factories. Since then, however, robots have changed a lot. Early robots were operated by humans. Today's robots function on their own. Some can only move around a little, like robot vacuum cleaners. But others, such as Honda's Osimo, can do much more. He can run, climb stairs, dance, and yes, even play soccer. Then there are robots designed to be like humans. These robots have faces and can show emotions. Such robots can learn new things and show us how they feel. Actroid DER, a social robot, looks so human, she sometimes makes people feel uncomfortable. Animal bots. Scientists aren't just building human-like robots. They are also making robots that look and act like animals. At NASA, scientists are making a robot snake. They think it's a good alternative to vehicles with wheels. These snake bots can enter holes and move over rough ground. They might one day help scientists look for signs of life on Mars. Other animal robots include the frog bot, which can jump over objects, and the sticky bot, which can walk up walls. There's even a robot called Water Runner that can walk on water. But can a robot soccer team ever operate all on their own? Or play as well as a human team? Many robot scientists definitely think so. Anything is possible. One day, they may even be world champions.
How will we live in 2035? Welcome to Life in the Future. You get up in the morning and look into the mirror. You've just had an anti-aging treatment, so your face looks youthful. In 2035, many people your age could live to be 150. So at 60, you're not old at all. Science has also found amazing ways to keep people healthy. There are nanotechnology treatments for many illnesses, including cancer. And if any part of your body is not healthy, you can grow a new one in a laboratory. As you get dressed, you say to your shirt, "Turn red." It becomes red. In 2035, smart clothes contain nanoparticles that carry electricity, so you can program clothes to change colors or patterns. On the way to the kitchen, you want to call a friend. Your cell phone is by the window because the material it's made of takes in energy from the sun. But you don't need to pick up the phone. You can just touch your jacket sleeve to make the call. These are just some examples of nanotechnology all around you. Your whole body and surroundings will become part of the same network, says scientist Ampi Buchholz. It's breakfast time. You reach for the milk, but a voice says, "Don't drink that." Your fridge is reading a computer chip on the milk. Every item from the grocery has a chip. Your fridge knows the milk is old and tells the store you need new milk. Finally, it's time to go to work. In 2035, cars drive themselves. Just tell your smart car where to go, and soon you will be there. So, will all these predictions come true? Perhaps the future is much closer than we think.